Ian, thanks, mate. Appreciate your time. I know it's a busy week. How's the build up been so far?
It's been a strange one because obviously we had trophy last Saturday, league game on Tuesday night. So probably was last night was just getting players back to normality in terms of fitness levels. Um, and we'll spend a bit of time tomorrow morning. We're training tomorrow morning, a couple of hours where we'll spend a bit on what we're going to do, what we expect against Boreham Wood on Monday night. So it's been quite low profile, really, quite quiet. Not really tries to cause too much of a scene. I think if we play it up too much, I just don't want it to get into the players' heads.
Has it been quite nice, and from that sort of point of view, to have that game on Tuesday night? No, maybe not the result you would have fully wanted, but to sort of break it up, and it wasn't, sort of shortens the kind of the build up, I guess.
In terms of injuries, it probably wasn't. We picked a couple of injuries up, so we've got to see where we are on that tomorrow. Two of the three players didn't train last night through some of the injuries they picked up. So from that side of it, it was a bit of a disappointment. 3 points would have been great, especially when we was leading there 1-0 with 5 minutes to go back in August. But again, we have to take these games when they come along. It probably wasn't right to cancel the game, knowing that we had 6 days before the Boreham Wood game, because all we'd have done is caused ourselves a fixture pile-up. But it was a good break in terms of not having to prepare too quickly, too early for the Boreham Wood game.
Yeah, is it sort of you saying about the build up and getting to the players' heads? Is it kind of helped the fact you had that first round game in Forest Green of all the bright lights as well, and kind of this is a bit more, there it's kind of into the pattern of it a bit more maybe?
Without a shadow of a doubt, and I think the experience they gained that day will help them tremendously on Monday. Very similar to the Forest Green game. We trained on the Saturday morning, then took them for a pre-match meal in the afternoon on Sunday and prepared for the game. We'll do exactly the same, so there's no difference in terms of the way we prepare, except one's going to be on a Monday instead of a Sunday. And then we'll go to there on Monday night. We'll travel by coach, travel the right way, turn up as a team, hopefully play as a team and leave as a team, hopefully victorious.
Like you say, on a Monday, so we sort of kind of meet up a little bit earlier and have that pre-match at the club.
Yeah, we're planning to meet at 3:30 for 3:45. We're off to Brocket Hall and have a bit of a food and just have a little bit of a chin wag in terms of some of our planning, preparation, and some of the set pieces we want to go through. We'll probably leave there about 5:30, 5:45, and get to the ground an hour and a half before kick-off. So the players can have an opportunity to have a look at the pitch and have a look at the surroundings. And we're probably in non-league football. We're going to one of the best grounds in non-league football now. Certainly the pitch will be one of the best. So it should be a good occasion for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's over £1 million, that pitch, isn't it?
I would have said 500,000 without a shadow of doubt, but you might be right. You might know more than me from that. But certainly it's a fantastic pitch, fantastic playing surface, and it'd be good for the players to experience that because that is a Premiership pitch being played in the non-league.
Yeah, and a club that you know very well.
Yeah, I spent over 10 years there, so a lot of the stuff that's happened over the last few years obviously wasn't there when I was first there. But I think you see what the chairman's done there. He's turned it into a proper non-league ground. They've obviously had a great season to date, sitting second in the league. So we're under no illusions. It's going to be a real tough game. We're going to need a little bit of luck as we did against Forest Green, but I believe we've got good players, and if my players turn up, I think we're going to be a good match for them, and I think it'll be a really entertaining game. And I think we've got enough there that we can cause them some problems and maybe cause an upset.
Yeah, like you say, 10 years of your life with that club and kind of what you achieved there. You must have some really sort of happy memories from that period of.
Yeah, if you look at the, I think both playoff finals, getting there was fantastic achievements, and then winning both the playoff finals was fantastic. And the emotion in terms of winning those games, very similar to the Forest Green game we had here a couple of weeks ago, is that you see some of the enjoyment on some of the supporters and some of the fans and the club itself, where it's taken the club itself from being in the Ryman Division 1 North. We only stayed up due to Halifax demise. That kept us in the Ryman Premier or Isthmian Premier. Won that after sort of 2 or 3 years and did the same in the Conference South, and they've maintained their status now for over 5 years in the National League. So they've had some really good years in terms of getting to Wembley, and probably, with Tranmere having a player sent off after a minute, should have gone on and won that. So they could quite easily be a Football League side now, but this season they've been outstanding, beaten at home, which is a fantastic record. I think they've only lost 2 games all season, so they're a good side. They've got good players, and under no illusions how tough this is going to be on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't come much bigger than an opportunity to get into the third round as it is, but this kind of draw and that kind of link, obviously, how you go back with the chairman and with Luke, is it even more than kind of just an FA Cup second round game from your point of view?
I think we've just got to be careful we don't turn it into something it really isn't. I've got a good relationship with Luke. I've got a good relationship with Danny. And, I think, from my point of view, I think it'd be great if we were both playing league opposition at home, with both of us having an opportunity to get into the third round of the FA Cup. Only one of us can progress now, which is a shame. And when you've got the amount of teams and the ties that was drawn out to actually draw each other was, at first for me, was a little bit disappointing. I wanted the league club at home again. And then I felt, well, we could have got Gateshead away or Kidderminster away or one of these teams away, which has been not being disrespectful to them at all. This gives our supporters an opportunity to travel. Obviously, we've got 1,250 supporters coming there on Monday night. If it had been a Portsmouth away, I'm sure we'd have taken 6,000 or 7,000 people. So in one way, it gives us an opportunity for them to experience the night again. Live on TV, ITV, because a lot of people in the St Albans area an opportunity to see the team play. And certainly some of the food outlets and some of the pubs on the Sunday when we played Forest Green tripled their takings that weekend. So from the community side of it, from the town side of it, it's been a great success, not only obviously from the playing side of it, but also from some of the people that live in and around St Albans areas.
Obviously, Luke was your assistant for 5 or 6 years and has now gone on to and I think you took your first managerial role. You were quite young as well, weren't you, when you first took it on?
I was 32, 33 when I went in at Baldock. Yeah, I was a player manager. Worst thing I ever did. Trying to play and trying to manage was just a nightmare. And I felt by the time I was sort of 34, 35 that you can't do both. You've got to concentrate on one. So I decided that it was time to hang the boots up. And I think Christmas this year, is it December the 26th, is 32 years since I started at Baldock. First game was against Bury St Edmunds. Alan Brazil was playing for Bury St Edmunds, and I think we drew 2-2 that day. So, and that's how it's been every single Christmas, every New Year. It's football, probably for the last 48 years now. So there's not many New Year's Eve or Christmas days you can take off and not be thinking about football.
Yeah. And am I right in saying this would be the first time, if you could get into the third round, be the first time as a manager?
Yes. Yeah.
And
we had a replay against Carl. Sorry, Matt.
I was just saying, the fact that it's 32 years in management and all this time, and kind of you haven't been there, I guess, sort of shows how tough it is to get there.
I thought you were going to say what a bad manager you are. So.
Could you have done a bit better?
I should have done better. I think it goes to show just how tough it really is. I think, in them 32 years, and that's not being disrespectful to people like Baldock and Stopfold and Barton Rovers and teams like that, Harlow. They were in the lower regions. We've only probably got into the first round of the FA Cup over the last sort of 10 years by being at clubs like St Albans and Boreham Wood, because they're two teams that have been progressive in what they want to do and slightly higher up in the league. So I think we managed third and fourth round at Baldock and at Barton and at Stopfold at some stages. But to get to this stage now is it's the first time I'm going to be a manager of a club that's going to be in the draw for the third round of the FA Cup, because apparently the draw is taking place at 7 o'clock. So we will know who we've got before the game. So that's a great achievement to have St Albans City Football Club in that draw, to the millions of people that will go out and see. But it is the answer to your question. It is a tough competition to be in. I don't lie when I say we were very fortunate at Corinthian Casuals. They were by far the better team. They deserved to be in front going into the 93rd minute. And unfortunately for us, their goalkeeper dropped the ball and David De Gea prodded it home. So that gave us an opportunity, which we then went and won on penalties. Met Police 10 minutes from the end, had a great chance in the driving rain. Though I felt we played really well at Met Police and probably should have come away with a victory. They could have nicked something. So Concord missed a penalty 7 minutes from the end. So you've got to look back at all those ties and think we're very fortunate to be where we are now. But in the FA Cup, at times you have to take that little bit of luck and use it in your favour, which we've done. And now we've obviously taken it further by beating Forest Green and given the opportunity of playing against and hopefully beating Boreham Wood.
Yeah, it was the FA Cup as a manager always had those kind of special, that special feeling, even when you think back to your Bulldog days and Stotfold and
I think even from the playing days, when I first was at Colchester in some of the earlier rounds, I know we got to the 5th round of the FA Cup in '79, I think it was. We lost to Manchester United. And I think it was one of the Greenough brothers scored the goal. But that was in front of 13,500 fans at Layer Road. So that was some special days. Arsenal scored in the quarter-final when we lost to Watford. Luton, I was substitute when we lost to Wimbledon in the '88 semi-final, where Wimbledon went on and beat Liverpool. And I've actually managed and played in the preliminary rounds all the way through to the semi-final. So the only one I haven't been involved is the final. So hopefully, with my experience and my luck, is that this year might be the year.
Never know. Sorry, Chris, I've been hogging it. I'll let you.
No, that's great. I mean, you know what? There's such a high level of excitement locally, as you know, Ian. And I think, as a 12th man going down, those 1,250 fans are going to be so excited and really there to support you and the guy and the team. And that's the thing that's coming out from everybody we're talking to right now. And I guess you're just going to be just as much of a buzz and to get the fans on the side. And it's going to be so important, I think, having a big crowd and a big excited crowd.
I think, when you see what happened here against Forest Green is that, the fans turned out in numbers and they were absolutely fantastic. But even just from the Forest Green game all season, the fans have been superb at this club this year. They've turned out in their numbers. I think the average gate is over 1,000. For us to get the crowds that we've got against Dulwich and against Hungerford in the last 2 games was astonishing compared to what we've had over the last few years. I know COVID's been a major problem where crowds have been concerned, but the supporters have come out in their numbers. They've made great noise this year as well. They've got right behind the team. And I'm sure if the ground had been bigger and we was allowed a bigger allocation, we'd have filled it. I know that for a fact. But 1,250 of our supporters at Boreham Wood's going to be fantastic. They're going to make the noise that we want, and we do want them to be a 12th man because we're going to need all the support we can get. As I've said earlier, we're going to need a little bit of luck. The ball's got to rub for us in some areas, and if that happens and our players turn up and they're good on the night, then we've got a good chance of winning the game.
Yeah. Well, we're right behind you, and we're looking forward to seeing you perhaps needing padded knees when you run down on that when that final whistle goes and do a sliding celebration.
But I'd need a couple of people to lift me up because I wouldn't be able to get up. Trust me.
Yeah.
On my knees at my stage. So it's. But again, it's as I said before, it was. I stood back after the Forest Green game and just looked at everybody enjoying themselves. It was just fantastic to see the enjoyment and the smile, and we had people running past us crying their eyes out, and it was just so fabulous to see. It was a great occasion, and that's all you want to really do sometimes in life is put a smile on somebody's face, and. I could sit back there and take stock of everything that was going on. I've been very lucky in my life, and I've been very fortunate. I've had experiences like the Forest Green before, and to sit back and just soak it all up and see everybody else enjoying it was fantastic from my point of view.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right about the numbers that want to go. I think getting a ticket for the game has been a bit like getting a Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory golden ticket. So, I mean, I know everybody that's going is just super pumped for you, so I think that the support is there, and I'm sure the team understand that, and we just hope that they don't feel the pressure. I think you're the underdog, so
I think we've got some experience, as we said before, with David Noble and Tom Bender. They've got experience, but even some of the younger players have all had experience playing at some of the pro clubs, like Liam Soul's been at Notts Forest, Romeo's been at QPR, and somebody's just fallen over in our boardroom. So Zane's been at Luton. So Sean Jeffers has been at Coventry, Yeovil, and the place. So they've all got a little bit of experience of where they've been. Johnny Goddard's played for Swindon and Stevenage and Woking. So I think the players will take it in their stride. They are very, very good players in terms of just focuses on the situation on the day and taking that into consideration rather than getting too far ahead of themselves. So I've not tried to make it too much of an occasion. I've tried to play it down so far. We've really had to concentrate on our league form because that took a bit of a blow losing to Dulwich and Hungerford, and we've got to get back on track because when we do come out of the FA Cup, and it could be this weekend, it could be in January, it could be in February, we've got to make sure that we're in and around the playoffs first and foremost, and gives us an opportunity of trying to get out of this league as well. The trophy is going to be important. The Hearts County Cup's important. So everything we're playing on all fronts at the moment is vitally important to us.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you luck. Certainly, we certainly do at Radio Verulam. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ian, I was just going to take up on one of the bits you said there about, sort of taking a step back after the Forest Green game and kind of soaking it all in and being able to, enjoy other people enjoying the moment, so to speak. Has that kind of come with your experience over the years and how you sort of developed as a manager in that sort of time? And have you kind of always been like that? Or?
I think so. And the first thing I wanted to do after the Forest Green game was be respectful to Forest Green's management. They were outstanding on the day. And I wanted to make sure that I was respectful to them first and foremost. But I wanted the team. I wanted the management team. I wanted the supporters to enjoy themselves. As you say, I've had many experiences like that. A couple of times at Boreham Wood, but even as players, we've had promotions when I was at Colchester, and we won the league, or we won the Littlewoods Cup. Though I wasn't playing at Luton and at Arsenal, so I've had those experiences that you tend to get used to. And as I say, for me now, it's about soaking all them experiences up and keeping them as memories. But to see the smiles on some of the other people's faces was fantastic. And if we can do that on Monday, it'll be a great occasion. And then hopefully we get, if we're given the opportunity, we get a good draw in the next round. So, it's important for me. I don't really want to know what the draw is before the game, but I'm sure somebody will blurt it out, or something will happen on the tannoy. So we have to experience that side of it as well. So though the players will be told tomorrow that not to focus too much on what the draw is, all they can do now is focus on that 90 minutes on Monday night. Make sure we prepare properly, which we will do. Make sure there's no stones unturned in terms of what we expect from Boreham Wood. And then we've got to try and cause them some problems. So, and the only way we'll do that is if we're on top of our game, because if we don't reach the heights that we've reached in some games, it's going to be a very long and hard night, because they're a good side and they will punish us if we're not on our game.
I guess if it's a really big draw, you might, struggle to keep it from. You have to lock them in the change room before or something. Do you warm up in there, or they don't?
Well, that's your problem you've got. And as I say, that's something we probably could have done without. But it's going to be the same for both clubs in terms of where we are. I'm sure, there's a million people out there. There's probably 10 million out there watching the FA Cup draw. There's going to be 4,500 or 4,000 in the ground. Plus, there's the phones need to be turned off, and I'm sure somewhere along the line it will get out somewhere. Somebody will know what the draw is. But I'll try and keep it away from the players as much as I can, because as I say, their focus is purely on that 90 minutes on Monday night. And then we can worry about what happens after the game, whether we've got beat. If we got beat, then we've got to make sure that we pick the players up for the game on Saturday against Hampton. If we draw, then we've got to make sure we pick the players up for the game against Hampton and worry about what's going to happen the week after that, after the Hampton game. And if we won, we can enjoy the occasion and make sure we prepare for the Hampton game, because that's the most important game after Monday.
Yeah. Does the enjoyment for you now as well as a manager come from kind of setting the players up and giving them this some kind of platform to go out and kind of express themselves and see the enjoyment that others are getting?
I think you're dead right, Matt. It is one of them now. Is that I think we've got a band of players here now that we can trust. There's a little odd mishap here and there where a little bit of lapse of concentration, and we try and help them from that side of it. But we've got good players here, and they know the regulations in terms of what's expected from them. We've not fallen far below expectations many times over the last 2 years. And there's occasions there where you can look back and think, well, maybe that was not quite right. But as long as we speak to them and put it right and they learn from that, then you just got to let them to get on with their games. We have to have a discipline in terms of the way we work. We have to work extremely hard in games. We have to have a discipline in terms of our discipline. Again, we haven't had a player sent off this year, which is fantastic in terms of the amount of games we've played. And I am touching wood when I'm telling you that one. So, because, we can't afford to go down to 10 men, because, we have to make sure that our discipline is really spot on in everything we do. And the discipline's been great this year. We have to continue that, and we have to make sure that that's right on Monday night. we can't give any advantage to Boreham Wood on Monday night. We've got to make sure that every advantage we get is what we've earned, and we've got to make sure that we take them forward for them 90 minutes. But as I said, they're good players. They know their jobs. They've got their jobs. And if they turn up on the night, I think we can be a match for anybody. And if we haven't, we've got players on the bench that can come on and turn the game. So, it's making sure that we make the substitutions at the right time. It's strange for us because we have 5 substitutions in that 90-minute period. So, after 75 minutes, I could quite easily take 5 off and put 5 on. But, we've got to make sure that it's the right thing we're doing at the right time. So, we might be, legs might start to go with 15, 20 minutes to go. Here, we brought on 2 players with 75 minutes and took David Noble off and Johnny Goddard off and put Hugh Dawson and Bailey Brown on. And that just gives us a little bit of security in the midfield. So I've got to make sure I get them spot on in terms of what time we make them substitutions, if it's the right substitutions to make. It might be the substitutions to make to try and shore up what we've got and protect what we've got, or it might be substitutions to try and get us back in the game or try and win the game. And, we've got enough on our bench that can do both them jobs. We've got some exciting players that will be on the bench. We've got some exciting players that will start. So it's about getting that substitutions right in terms of when we introduce them to maybe go on and win the game.
As long as you don't put on 6 like Exeter did the other week. You'll be,
I know that was Exeter, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Do you sort of look at the kind of the job that Luke's been doing at Boreham Wood and take some pride in kind of, he sort of learned alongside you and under you and kind of what he's done there, and they've lost big players each season, and they're still up there. You sort of take
I think their recruitment's fantastic, because obviously to get the players there, and everyone knows that they don't get massive gates in terms of the league fixtures. So to entice players to the football club, they do it for the right reason. That's a fabulous playing surface, as we know. It's a fabulous ground to go to. And I know the chairman works extremely hard in making sure all of that's correct. They travel the correct way. And they're well looked after. The players are looked after. They get their food and everything after training. I think the biggest thing was going full time, and I think Luke has taken that into a new level, which is good from that side of it. The club itself over the last 5 or 6 years has progressed tremendously well to be one of the top non-league sides in the country. And you've got to say it's a magnificent achievement. It's not a massive town, Boreham Wood. We've said with the crowds, they don't get massive crowds. They're not a Notts County or a Chesterfield or somebody along them lines. So you've got to take your hat off to them and say they've done a fantastic job. Hopefully somewhere along the line, I've helped Luke in his progression. But I think sometimes, in football management, you've got to be your own man. You've got to be your own person. And you have to make some mistakes along the way to learn from where he is now. But I think he's done a fantastic job, as I say. He's got a fantastic squad around him. And it's just really making sure that they progress going forward for the rest of this year. And first and foremost, to make the playoffs. And if they can't make that, then try and win the league, because they've got a good enough squad to do that.
I know it's a big weekend in the Allinson family, but I understand is your granddaughter's turning on the Christmas lights in Connecticut on Sunday, isn't she as well?
We got that 4 o'clock at Connecticut, yeah. So it's all planned in. So I think we've got to be over there for around about 3:30. So that's a great. As I said before, what she did over lockdown with the support of family and everyone else is that to actually go out and do what she did, and she did it on her own in terms of a mile a day for 100 days. And she's become a little bit of a star. She did a poem at the Garden House Hospice last week at Letchworth in front of 200 people, and she's turning the lights turning the lights on Sunday at Connecticut. So great achievement for her. As I say, it's great from our point of view, because obviously to see her, she's a little star at times. So, but she's also got her schooling to worry about. So she's only 6 now. I think she's going to be 7 next week. So she's got to concentrate on her schooling before she can start becoming a superstar.
Yeah. Have you turned on any Christmas lights anywhere yet? Or
only in my house, and they fused last night. So one of the bulbs went.
If you win Monday, you never know.
Yeah. Well, one of the bulbs went. So, and trust me, when it comes to doing stuff like that, I am useless. So I just left them there, and they'll still probably be there tonight. So, but we will have a look at it in terms of probably have to go and buy new ones. So I haven't got the ability to find one bulb.
You can come around and turn mine on, Ian, if you want. How about that?
Win Monday, mate, and you will be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we do the whole lot, can't we? So.